Los Angeles. They sold you a dream of sunshine and celebrity, but they delivered a 6-lane parking lot with palm trees. You could call Los Angeles a city, but it's really a monument to the world's most toxic love affair, the one between a man and his car. This is the place where progress is measured in freeway interchanges, and the air is the color of a dirty penny. The absurd reality is that LA was once a paradise, a garden of orange groves and rolling hills, connected by one of the most extensive electric rail systems on the planet. But in the great American quest to go nowhere faster, they systematically ripped it all out. They paved over paradise and, you guessed it, put up a parking lot. Today, the city has dedicated so much land to the automobile, roads, freeways, and parking that it could cover the entire island of Manhattan twice. How do you even begin to justify that? The human cost of this is a soul-crushing commute. The average Angelino spends nearly 100 hours a year stuck in traffic. That's 4 full days of your life, every year staring at the bumper of a Prius while your dreams slowly die. They built a city so spread out, you have to drive an hour to get a decent taco and another hour to get back. It's a lifestyle of isolation, packaged as freedom. The irony payoff? The city designed for ultimate mobility has become a trap. Every new lane they add just invites more cars, a phenomenon so predictable it has a name: induced demand. It's like trying to cure obesity by loosening your belt. Los Angeles isn't a failed city. It's a city that succeeded so spectacularly at being for cars, it forgot to be for people. If Los Angeles is the accidental poster child for car-choked streets, Atlanta is where they turned that accident into an art form. Atlanta. Atlanta calls itself the city in a forest, which is a poetic way of saying it's a place where you can't see the next soul-crushing traffic jam for the trees. This wasn't an accident. This was design with a purpose. This is where the American highway evolved from a simple road into a weaponized wall. Look at a map of Atlanta, and you'll see a spider web of concrete. The downtown connector, an unholy fusion of interstates 75 and 85, slices directly through the city's heart. It carries over 300,000 cars a day, but its real function was social engineering. When these highways were built in the mid-20th century, they were strategically routed to demolish black neighborhoods and create physical barriers between white and black communities. While they were building barriers, maybe you can build our community by hitting subscribe. The human cost is a city permanently divided. Neighborhoods that were once connected became isolated islands. Don't think this is ancient history. The legacy is a city with some of the worst traffic and worst inequality in the nation. Your commute in Atlanta isn't just a function of distance. It's a function of which side of the highway you were born on. Public transit is an afterthought because the system was designed from the ground up to ensure people in cars never had to interact with people on buses. The final, infuriating payoff is this: Atlanta has more miles of road per capita than almost any other major city. All that concrete wasn't for efficiency. It was to enforce a social order. They didn't just build a city that was hard to get around. They built a city that was hard to get together. But this is child's play next to the city we'll find later, literally cooking itself to death. Houston. Welcome to Houston, the city that looked at the rulebook of urban planning, laughed, and threw it in a bayou. This is the largest city in America with virtually no zoning laws. It's a glorious, chaotic, and often hideous experiment in what happens when you let capitalism play The Sims with a real city. Here, a daycare can open next to a chemical plant, a skyscraper can cast its shadow over a single-family home, and a cemetery can be your next-door neighbor. That's not a bug. It's the entire feature. The absurd reality is a landscape of pure contradiction. You'll drive down a street that feels like a quiet suburb, and then, without warning, a 40-story office tower appears. Or you'll find a high-end art gallery squeezed between a pawn shop and a liquor store. The city's famous Katy Freeway is a 26-lane monster. That's not a typo, making it one of the widest highways in the world. And guess what? It's still congested. The human cost of this free-for-all is a city built for cars and floods. With no rules about where you can pave things over, vast stretches of flood-absorbing prairie have been turned into concrete. When Hurricane Harvey hit, the water had nowhere to go. The no-rules philosophy suddenly looked a lot less like freedom and a lot more like a catastrophic failure of foresight. In Houston, your biggest threat isn't the traffic, it's the parking lot next door. The irony payoff is that Houston's Wild West approach was sold as a recipe for freedom and affordability. But in the end, it created a city that's a nightmare to navigate and a sitting duck for the next big storm. They built a city without a plan and are now forced to live with the chaotic, waterlogged consequences. Let's leave the chaos behind for a world of pure manufactured control, where the problems are just as bad, but with a smile. Orlando. Orlando is a city designed by a cartoon mouse for the sole purpose of separating you from your money. It's the global capital of manufactured joy and authentic misery, a sprawling kingdom of theme parks, chain restaurants, and low-wage jobs, all connected by roads that make you wish you could just fly away on a magic carpet. The absurd reality of Orlando is that it's a city built for tourists, not residents. The entire urban layout is dictated by the gravitational pull of Disney World. This has created a landscape of endless suburbs and stroads, those ugly, dangerous hybrids of a street and a road that are hostile to anyone not encased in a 2-ton metal box. It's a place where the most famous landmark is a castle, and the most common experience is a traffic jam on Interstate 4. The human cost is paid by the people who have to live in the shadow of the fantasy. Orlando is one of the most dangerous cities in America for pedestrians. You have a sprawling, low-density city where public transit is a joke, forcing everyone into a car. This traps the very service workers the tourism industry depends on in brutal, expensive, and time-consuming commutes, just so they can smile for the vacationers. The perfect irony? The city that sells a fantasy of a walkable, small-town Main Street USA is, in reality, a pedestrian's nightmare. It's a place where the dream is a meticulously crafted illusion, and the reality is a sprawling, car-dependent, and deeply unequal metropolis. It's a small world after all, but it takes an hour to drive across it. If Orlando is an exercise in endless, sprawling suburbs, Jacksonville is what happens when that idea takes steroids. Jacksonville, Florida is what happens when a city gets drunk on map-making. It is, by land area, the largest city in the contiguous United States. At nearly 880 square miles, it's so comically large you could fit New York City, Boston, and San Francisco inside it, and still have room for a swamp or two. Let's be clear. This isn't a city. It's a statistical anomaly with a downtown. The absurd reality is that most of Jacksonville isn't a city at all. It's a collection of suburbs, marshland, and small towns that all agreed to be called Jacksonville in 1968 to solve a political problem. The result is a place with no real center. You can drive for 45 minutes, pass through what feels like 3 different towns, and technically never leave the city limits. It's the definition of sprawl, a place where the official slogan should be, "Are we there yet?" The human cost is a profound sense of disconnection. With everything so spread out, a car isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Public transportation is stretched so thin, it's practically invisible. This creates a city of disconnected pods, where community is something you have to drive 20 minutes to find. For a place so massive, it can feel incredibly small and isolating. It has all the traffic of a big city, with none of the benefits. The irony is that this mega city was formed to create a more efficient, unified government. Instead, it created a bloated, disjointed entity that's a nightmare to navigate and govern. It's the American obsession with bigger is better, taken to its most illogical conclusion. Jacksonville isn't a city, it's a geographical joke that forgot the punchline. But there's a difference between a city that's empty by design and one that's been emptied by heartbreak. Detroit is not a city of bad intentions, it's a city of ghosts. This was the engine of the 20th century, the place that put the world on wheels and built the American middle class. And then it all stopped. To understand Detroit's design isn't to look at a map, but to look at a timeline. This is a city built for 2 million people that is now home to less than 700,000. The absurd reality of Detroit is the emptiness. You can stand on a street corner and see a gleaming, revitalized skyscraper in one direction and a block of abandoned, decaying houses in the other. It's a city of vast open spaces where neighborhoods used to be, now reclaimed by nature. Don't call them parks, they are scars. The road network was built for a bustling metropolis, but now serves a skeleton crew, creating eerie, empty 8-lane highways. The human cost is written on the face of every resident who stayed. Decades of economic collapse, white flight, and political neglect left behind a population that was largely black and poor, trapped in a city with crumbling infrastructure and no opportunities. The ruin isn't just physical, it's a deep generational trauma. For decades, living in Detroit was an act of survival. The tragic payoff is that Detroit is the ultimate monument to the fragility of the American dream. It was a city that did everything right according to the rules of industrial capitalism. It built one thing, it built it well, and when the world changed, the city broke. Its ruins aren't a sign of bad planning. They're a warning sign of what happens when a city ties its entire identity, its entire physical form, to an industry that can just get up and leave. From the cold ruins of the Rust Belt, we head to the burning heart of the Sun Belt, where the biggest design flaw isn't the economy, it's the sun. Phoenix. Phoenix is humanity's most arrogant statement. It is a city of over 1.6 million people built in a place that regularly tries to kill you with heat. Forget calling this a badly designed city. It's a fundamentally bad idea, a monument to our belief that with enough air conditioning, we can conquer the laws of nature. We can't. The absurd reality of Phoenix is that it's a city at war with its own environment. It's a sprawling grid of asphalt and concrete dropped into the Sonoran Desert. All that dark material creates an urban heat island effect, meaning the city is significantly hotter than the surrounding desert, especially at night. Summer temperatures now regularly top 115 degrees Celsius. That's 46 to C for those of you who use logic. It's a city where you can get third-degree burns from touching a door handle. Seriously, who thought this was a good idea? The human cost is becoming an existential threat. The city relies on water piped in from hundreds of miles away to sustain its lush green lawns and sparkling swimming pools in a region that gets about 8 inches of rain a year. This is, to put it mildly, not sustainable. The heat kills. Every summer, hundreds of people die from heat-related causes, many of them homeless, many of them simply people whose AC broke at the wrong time. It's a slow-motion disaster that everyone sees coming. The ultimate terrifying irony is that the lifestyle Phoenix was built to enable, single-family homes, green yards, endless sunshine, is exactly what's making the city unlivable. Every new suburb, every new freeway, every new golf course is another nail in its own coffin. Phoenix wasn't just badly designed, it was designed on a dare, a bet against the climate that it is now, inevitably, losing. But if Phoenix is a monument to human arrogance, our final stop is a monument to human absurdity. A city that took one look at the desert and said, let's build a casino on it. Las Vegas. And so we end here, in the shimmering, unapologetic absurdity of Las Vegas. This city is the grand finale, the all-you-can-eat buffet of bad design. It takes every sin of American urbanism we've seen and rolls them into one glorious neon-drenched spectacle. It is the most honest city in America because it's the only one that admits it's all fake. Vegas has the arrogant environmental defiance of Phoenix. It's a city in the Mojave Desert, one of the driest places in North America, that decided its signature feature would be giant, elaborate water fountains. It has the tourist trap hollowness of Orlando, a city with a famous main drag, the Strip, that is actively hostile to human beings who dare to walk on it. It's a 6-lane highway disguised as a theme park, and it has the car-dependent sprawl of Los Angeles, a sea of stucco suburbs where the only way to survive is inside an air-conditioned car, traveling between air-conditioned buildings. The human cost here is the ultimate isolation. It's a city built for transient pleasure, not permanent community. The entire place is designed to overwhelm your senses and empty your wallet, leaving no room for genuine human connection. The people who live and work there are just part of the scenery for the weekend tourists, living in a sprawling metropolis that is both everywhere and nowhere. So what's the final payoff? Las Vegas is the perfect metaphor for the American approach to building cities. We treat the land as a disposable resource, build for the convenience of the car, and prioritize the illusion of progress obsess over the reality of sustainability. It's a mirage in the desert, a beautiful, impossible, and utterly insane idea. And just like a mirage, the closer you get, the more you realize there's nothing really there. It's the worst designed city in America because it's all of them at once. And it doesn't even have the decency to be sorry. The world is a museum of spectacular mistakes and accidental genius, just waiting to be explained. And the next exhibit is already waiting for you.